SPMP サイドストーリークンネチプ
Previous overview. While fleeing from the men in the village, Momu injured his leg, and they began to move at night but got lost in the dark mountains. But when Kunnecup found a great tree in the mountains, they moved in according to her sister's advice, and they reached the shore. We watched the beautiful sunset for a while after arriving at the beach, but then we remembered the purpose of coming to the sea and immediately headed for the water's edge. I've forced Momu to do it, so let's cool his feet with seawater first. Also, it will soon be pitch black, so I have to find a place to rest my body. I don't think he'll be able to walk anytime soon because of his injuries, so we need to find a place where we can rest inconspicuously. While he cooled his ankles with seawater, I filled a bamboo tube with seawater and prepared to cool his feet after entering the woods. For the time being, we still have some food left, so that's a relief. When we head to the forest, there is a bank in front of us, and if we climb on it, we will not be able to see us from the shore. In this place, we can rest our bodies, and at night we can use the fire to warm ourselves. Plus, I can cook food and eat something warm, which is the best thing on a cold night. After that, Momu made a fire and I cooked. And after the meal, we had a proper conversation for the first time in a long time. The first thing that came up was Chalati. I believe he got away with it well, but the fact that he has to go over the mountain alone and I'm worried that he might be injured. Momu told me that he was stronger than he looked, so he would be fine, but the road to Palakodan was so far that I was worried. Now we can only pray that he will reach Palakodan safely. The next morning, when I look at Momu's ankle, it's still swollen, and he says he can walk with a cane, but if he forces himself to move again, the injury will get worse. For now, let's give him a little more rest. However, at this time, I searched for ingredients here and there and made many good discoveries. I was able to catch a lot of shellfish on the coast here, a lot of wild vegetables in the mountains, and the river is nearby, so I don't have any problems with drinking water. While I was waiting for Momu's injuries to subside, I kept calling Tanu's name on the beach. But in the end, there was no reply from Tanu, and when Momu's injuries recovered, we resumed our journey. As we walked along, I wondered why a settlement wasn't built in such a good place, and I soon found the answer. After walking for a while, the shore became rocky and there was no seaweed in sight. There are few fish in the sea without seaweed, and the rocky areas are very inconvenient to get shellfish, so I can't get a lot of them. On top of that, if there are even bandits, it is natural that people will not come close. I don't know if the people in that village are really bandits. The fact that the man was there seems to have something to do with the people of Yasso, but Susa said that the man had escaped. If that's the case, the relationship between that man and Yasso seems tenuous, but there's no doubt that he has a grudge against Susa. I don't know why he holds a grudge against Susa, but it could have something to do with the two sounds he makes. He hasn't seen my face, so I don't think he's going to follow us anymore, but I'm worried about Susa. The coast is still rocky, with only a few small sandy beaches here and there. There are a lot of concerns, but if we don't find food as soon as possible, we will be worried about the amount of food we have. Occasionally, Momu and I would look for ingredients, but there were few shellfish in the sea around here, and there was not much harvest in the mountains. We need to find a cotton where people gather as soon as possible, or we will eventually run out of food. It doesn't make sense for us to fall down before we find my sister. Let's hurry up a bit. Then we crossed the night 3 times. We continued walking, and when we were tired of walking, we went into the woods and took a break and had a meal. When the meal was over, I sat around the fire with Momu and stared blankly at the flames. At that moment, I was surprised to see one of the stones that I had placed around the fire, and I hurried to pick it up, but the stone heated by the fire was very hot. But I couldn't hold the stone in my hand, but I could see it clearly. It's my sister's mark. The fact that there is a mark of my sister means that the sisters were staying here. What a coincidence. Today's story ends. The continuation of the story will be updated every Saturday. Please look forward to. If you like, please subscribe to the channel. See you again.